Welcome to a hands-on, self-paced lab focused on Pulumi and Azure. With no prior experience required, you will learn the basics of Pulumi and its Azure provider. You will provision an Azure Function apps with all required dependencies and will get a simple but fully working serverless application up and running. Here we have our lab summary. The lab is a step-by-step tutorial that guides through of building a simple serverless application. Here we focus on automating infrastructure provisioning rather than writing application code. In about an hour or so, you learn about resource groups, storage accounts, app service plans, and function apps in Azure. You define infrastructure as TypeScript code and execute it from the command line interface. At the same time, you learn the fundamentals of Pulumi, its programming model, and workflow. For this tutorial, target audience will be 1. Azure familiarity. The lab assumes basic familiarity with Azure services listed above. But even if you are very new to Azure, you'll be able to follow along and look up additional information in Azure Docs as you go. And 2. Pulumi experience. No prior experience with Pulumi is required. Lab overview. Ensure that you have the necessary tools and accounts set up. Create a new Pulumi project and install the required packages. In Azure, define and deploy Azure resources using Pulumi code. Deploy your serverless application code to the Azure Function app. Test your application and verify that it is working as expected. Prerequisites: Azure account, Pulumi CLI, Node.js and NPM, and code editor of your choice. Pulumi project setup: use Pulumi CLI to create a new project directory. Install required Pulumi packages for Azure resources provisioning. Initialize the Pulumi project and configure it for Azure deployment. Azure resource provisioning. Here we required resource group, storage account, app service plan, function app. Function app deployment. Write your serverless application code in TypeScript. Deploy your code to the Azure Function app using Pulumi. Test your application to ensure it is working as expected. Congratulations! You have successfully completed the Learn Pulumi Lab.